The Crayons were known across the galaxy as the ultimate predators, fearless, ruthless, and unmatched in the hunt. For centuries, they turned entire planets into hunting grounds, where stalking and killing became not just tradition but a way of life. In their culture, the hunt wasn't just survival, it was sacred. Their status depended on conquering what they saw as weaker species, always searching for new prey. The Crayons eventually set their sights on Earth. Their approach was cold and calculated. Scout ships cloaked in stealth silently orbited the planet, collecting data and mapping defenses. From their perspective, Earth was primitive, barely beginning its journey into space, divided by borders, and poorly defended. In their eyes, it would be an easy conquest. But they were wrong. Their first strikes came without warning. Small towns and isolated settlements were hit first, chosen specifically to avoid international attention. In the dead of night, entire neighborhoods vanished. What remained were burned-out ruins and ash. People were pulled into the sky by invisible beams. Homes crumbled in seconds under weapons no one had ever seen before. It was terrifying. And it was just the beginning. Earth's governments were paralyzed for a moment, but only for a moment. What followed was something the Crayons hadn't anticipated: unity. Nations that had once stood on opposite sides of wars came together, resources were pooled, scientists and soldiers joined forces. A global alliance was born not out of politics, but pure survival. The mission was clear: understand the enemy and hit back. Captured alien tech was studied day and night. Engineers, linguists, and hackers worked together to decode their systems. Military minds started to rethink warfare itself. A full frontal attack would mean suicide, so they turned to tactics born from Earth's bloodiest wars: guerrilla combat. From the jungles of the Amazon to the underground networks of New York, humanity began fighting back, not with brute force, but with cunning, chaos, and terrain the Crayons couldn't control. The hunters had become the hunted. From Tokyo to the Amazon, Earth's terrains turned into battlegrounds of resistance. Small, agile strike teams trained in unconventional tactics used their environments as weapons. Ambushes, sabotage, and fast hit-and-run attacks became their signature. The land itself fought alongside them. In the Amazon rainforest, a Crayon hunting party walked straight into a trap. Hidden drones triggered an EMP blast, shutting down their energy shields. Moments later, human fighters closed in and wiped them out. In Istanbul, the resistance hacked traffic systems to trap a patrol unit in a narrow dead end. Just before a wave of explosions tore through the street. Each victory meant more than strategy. It struck at the Crayons' pride. Their fearlessness began to crack. Seized alien gear was quickly reverse engineered. Human scientists worked around the clock, blending alien and Earth technology. Soon, soldiers carried hybrid weapons, energy rifles adapted from Crayon blueprints. Their armor, once fragile, became stronger, smarter, built for survival in hostile alien conditions. Even communication systems were upgraded using encrypted alien codes, allowing Earth's forces to coordinate silently and strike without warning. Humanity was changing. What started as survival had turned into resistance and now into offense. Earth was done hiding. The next move was bold: strike back, not just on Earth, but on the Crayons' home turf. Leading the charge was an elite unit known as Wrecker. These weren't ordinary troops, they were veterans, tested in fire, hardened by impossible victories. Each one had survived the worst the Crayons could throw at them. Now they were humanity's spearhead, outfitted with advanced hybrid tech-adaptive armor, stealth modules, enhanced energy weapons. Rock 4 soldiers were ready to take the war beyond Earth. The first stage of the counterattack began with silent landings on the Crayon homeworld, a planet of brutal storms, jagged cliffs, and impenetrable fortresses. Terrorcore slipped through undetected, landing in remote regions, evading patrols and sensors. Their first engagements were swift and quiet. Crayon units eliminated before they could even raise an alarm. Earth's forces were no longer inferior. They were lethal. Covert sabotage missions followed. Teams struck deep into enemy territory, planting explosives, hacking power grids, and disabling key infrastructure. But not every mission was about destruction. On one planet, Terrorcore discovered something horrifying and hopeful. In hidden compounds, the Crayons had been imprisoning other intelligent species, beings from across the galaxy, captured, hunted, treated as trophies. Now the hunters were losing control. The liberated alien species, once hunted and caged, now stood alongside humanity, brave, grateful, and ready to fight. They brought with them vital intelligence, advanced skills, and a common goal: freedom. As the Crayon homeworld reeled from surprise attacks, cracks formed from within. Their security crumbled, command lines fractured, and doubt spread through the ranks. For the first time, fear existed among the creditors. Then came the final blow: the mission that would decide the fate of the war. The target, the Crayon Central Command, a heavily fortified citadel that controlled planetary defenses and off-world operations. With help from their new allies and under the cover of chaos, Terrorcore launched their most daring assault yet. The battle was fierce, brutal, precise, but Earth's forces broke through, guards were overwhelmed, high-ranking Crayon leaders were captured, the entire communications network fell into human hands. The command center was no longer theirs, it was ours. The final offensive followed. TerraCore turned the Crayons' own defense systems against them, redirecting energy cannons, collapsing key structures, and using environmental traps in ways the Crayons never anticipated when the dust settled. One truth echoed across the galaxy: Earth had won. This wasn't just a victory, it was a message. Humanity was no longer prey. It was a force, a sovereign power, a name to be feared and respected. With the fall of the command center, a new possibility emerged, something previously unimaginable: diplomacy. For the first time in Crayon history, they agreed to talk. In the very citadel they once ruled from, a neutral ground was formed. Human diplomats, backed by hard-earned respect and undeniable strength, faced their former oppressors. At first, the Crayons resisted. Negotiations were tense and uncertain. But internal pressure, repeated losses, and public unrest pushed them toward a deal. Eventually they yielded. A treaty was signed, a historic agreement witnessed by galactic representatives. Humanity, once isolated and underestimated, now had a seat at the interstellar tabula, voice in the Galactic Council. And peace, at last, began. The work of rebuilding followed. Earth's cities rose from the rubble, stronger than ever, powered by alien tech integrated into everyday life. Energy, transportation, defense all evolved. Even the Crayon homeworld began to change. A shared future took root. Human creativity mixed with Crayon engineering. Former enemies now worked together, restoring ecosystems, building starships, exploring sustainable progress. In the end, a war born from blood and survival gave rise to something far greater, a new era. Humanity's greatest weapons, resilience, unity, and adaptability, had changed the course of history, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy.